King definitely punked Dr. G. King talked to Dr. Chi like that was his son. Like, he definitely looked down on this short man with his bald head and his chipmunk voice. And I think he came as this dark chocolate man. He talked to him like that was his little baby son. Welcome to another episode of the That's Scary with Melanie P podcast. I'm your girl, Melanie P, and we're here to have a little quick chit conversation. Now listen, I have not been watching as much like Married to Medicine this season, but I have been watching it for the last couple of episodes, and Quad. Girl, you done picked you a fine chocolate man, and this most recent episode had a particular clip where Quad's new sexy chocolate king confronted her ex-husband, and I wanted to talk about this and get your opinion, y'all. I'm going to play this clip, and we're going to talk about it. I feel like I might be a little bit biased by the chocolate beautiful man and by his body, his talking, his demeanor. I think I might be biased with this, but here's the truth. Now, at the end of the day, I always want my man to stand up for me, whether I'm right or wrong, in public, you know, so I get what her man is attempting to do. I get what this beautiful black chocolate king is trying to do here, but I feel like his approach was a little bit much. Now, I will say, Dr. Greg, you a doctor, child. You might want to get some injections to make that little bit of a deepness in that voice, because it's really giving like chipmunk, which is like, I can't take it seriously. Like, I can't take his voice seriously. He sounds like he hasn't even reached puberty yet. And it's so weird. But with this conversation, I get what King was trying to do. Quad she made a post and she said, that's all King wanted was an apology directed to me for the disrespect. And you know, here's the thing. I know that editing is chopped up, but based off the clip that I saw, I think that his approach could have been better. I think that when he approached little baby Dr. G, little chipmunk, little cute little baby Dr. G, I think that it came off kind of aggressive. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not gonna hold you. I have not watched like that this whole episode. I'm actually gonna watch it today, but I only got a little bit of time to make these videos. But the approach that I'm seeing in this clip was a bit much. I think that he could have got his point across in a less confrontational, less aggressive way. I do agree with a lot of people in the comments saying that, you know, Quad was kind of antagonizing Dr. G and his wife. Now, from what I saw in the previous episode, she was drinking. She had several drinks, several cocktails, and she was saying a lot to Dr. G. To me, it was giving comedy. It was giving comedy, you know, it was giving comedy and alcohol. And I feel like Dr. G was threatened by, I feel like Dr. G was threatened by this beautiful black muscular king. I feel like he was threatened by him off gate, and I feel like he couldn't even take the comedy and the drunkenness and what Quad was giving to him. I think he is very much aware that Quad eats sweet tea up in looks and, you know, down. I think that, I don't know if he ever anticipated Quad moving on to such a beautiful specimen. And I think that it really does trigger him to see Quad happy with that fine ass man. And I think that, and I heard someone say this, it might have been Dr. Heavenly, but I heard someone say something like the whole thing behind getting Dr. G and unsweetened tea on this, back on this show was to make Quad uncomfortable, was to like throw his new wife in Quad's face. And I don't think that they anticipated the underdog coming back with a finer man, a happier life, younger looking man. Like, if you put King and unsweetened tea next to each other, King is going to win every time. You know what I'm saying? And then if you put Dr. G, let's do this. If you put Quad, unsweetened tea next to each other, Quad's going to win every single time. If you put Dr. G and and King going to win every single time. Okay? So I can understand the level of maybe uncomfortability that Dr. G had. The episode that I saw, it was very evident that he was triggered by seeing his ex-wife with that fine ass man. And it was very evident that he took it out on unsweetened tea because he was mad at her. I do think that King could have done a better job in communicating, hey, listen, whatever you have going on with, my girl, your ex-wife, you know, that's none of my business. But my job is here to protect my girlfriend. And I feel like it's a little bit of disrespect going back and forth. So like at this point, let's just keep your separate ways. Period. Hard stop. That would have gotten across the same message as what King was trying to get across. But I feel like King went a little bit too far. He used a lot of extra words that really wasn't necessary, in my opinion. And see, here's the thing. I feel like when King said, don't let it happen, King definitely punked Dr. G. King talked to Dr. G like that was his son and he was about to give him a beating. Like he definitely looked down on this short man with his bald head and his chipmunk voice. And I think he came as this dark chocolate man standing over him with his chest exposed and out. And Dr. G looking like Dr. G looked, sounding like how he looked. And I think that he talked to him like that was his little baby son. And it doesn't help that Dr. G has that little baby voice either. He did punk him. Like he punked him. And so I'm not a man and I don't know like if a man is going to be thinking of, let me deliver this message in the most respectful way. Not gonna lie, I don't know what happened before, like at this episode, because I did not watch it. But looking at this clip, I feel like there could have been a better way to have this conversation mainly on King's side. And watching unsweetened tea is just something I don't want to watch. I'm not a fan of unsweetened tea. I'm just not. I'm not a fan of the shade that she tries to throw at Quad. I'm not a fan of her mouth, her looks, her body shape. I'm not a fan of her at all. She has an overbite or something to where I think it's hard for her to close her mouth, and I'm just not a fan of hers at all. Now, I feel like this could have definitely ended when King, beautiful chocolate King, said, as long as you ain't got no words, I'm good. That really could have ended it. And I saw somebody put in the comments that little baby Dr. G, he wasn't really coming back at him until he saw all the other dudes coming back. And he's like, then he started kind of fighting back. And I think that's when it escalated. I think that once King said, as long as you ain't got no words, we're good, they could have ended it, walked away, and we could have ended the situation. But here come Dr. G. Child, looking at Quad run versus looking at unsweetened tea run is so disgusting to me. I want to get the visual of unsweetened tea running in that bathing suit out of my head. She's so top heavy. I do think that this clip and this scene likely was cut up by production to make it look a certain type of way for the viewers. I just don't take it from what I have seen this season from King that he is that level of confrontational. I feel like he's a very, just my opinion, I feel like he is a very calm, cool, and collected king. And I think that he just wanted respect from his woman, period, point blank. And I do think that Dr. G started running his mouth a little bit too much, and King, being the chocolate muscular man that he is, just, I guess that testosterone came out and he was ready to go. I would really love to see the uncut version of this scene to see what really, really went down. He literally, now here's the thing, again, to my point, he literally said, as long as you ain't got no words, we good. And then Dr. G's response was, who you think you're talking to? Like, if this is not cut up, I need to see the raw footage. I don't know. I really want to see what happens. I've heard that they have had to go to court. I think Dr. G had some kind of court situation as it relates to King and this altercation. I cannot wait to see how this turns out. My goal and my prayer is that Quad and King live happily ever after, have many little mini King, mini Quad babies, and they throw the rope that some of the people in this cast, Dr. G, Unsweetened Tea, meant to hang them. They throw that same rope back at them to hang them on their own selves. I'm here for it. Like, to me, I don't know if I feel like I'm being biased. I love Quad. I love King. I love King for her. She needs a man like all of us do to stand up for her honor. She deserves that. I think she's been through so much. I think she was never in love with Dr. G. I think she literally did what I just did a video on, and she married that man just for the check, and she was not in love. This is why she divorced him. Tall tale. She married Dr. G because she wanted to marry a doctor. She wanted to marry a man that had money, and she was left with the empty tank. And now she has her king on her side. They're about to have a baby and keep it moving. And that's the biggest one you could ever do. Let me know your thoughts on this little clip from Married to Medicine. Married to Medicine is giving me what I need. I'm not going to lie. I missed this episode. I saw this clip. I wanted to talk about it. But Married to Medicine having Quad, Unsweetened Tea, Dr. G, and King on this show, y'all. Is King not fine? King almost seemed a little bit too good to be true. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't. You know what? I don't want to think about that. I think he's just a fine ass specimen. I'm here for it. Quad, congratulations in advance. And let me know what you think, y'all. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.